What is up, DTube? So today I want to do a video talking a little bit about HEX and CoinTelegraph, because I just searched on CoinTelegraph if they have been writing just one good article about HEX since its launch and since we've been seeing its amazing performance. Not a single article. Not a single positive article. I mean, so I'm gonna search now on CoinTelegraph. Let's search on CoinTelegraph, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna say exactly what I'm seeing. So if I go to CoinTelegraph, and if I search for HEX in their search engine, and I'm gonna see exactly what pops up. So the first article that pops up, let's see, and I'm gonna go back to the beginnings. So first, December the 1st, they made actually a decent post. It was by Darren Klein, and it was called "What the Hex? A Look at Richard Hart's Controversial New Crypto." Then look at then they did an article from William Suberg on December the 2nd about OneCoin and talking about their 4 billion Ponzi scheme, and then they talked a little bit about the accusations against HEX. Then December the 16th, they made a post, HEX dives 60% on bitcoin.com. And then they made an article on December the 17th where they talked a little bit about HIT BTC and just quickly mention HEX. But okay, so first they have this negative article here, HEX dives 60%. Then they had another negative article on January the 5th called Richard Hart's HEX now trading for less than 1 Satoshi after 52% drop. Then in February they had another article, and in this one they actually made lies. So they made an article about OneCoin, and then they talked notably HEX, an altcoin that promises investors huge return but has lost almost all its value over the course of several months. Here they made a lie. They say that there are promises in HEX. There are no promises. So you're making up lies here. So William Suberg here on CoinTelegraph, he basically straight up lied here. There are no promises. There has never been any promises in HEX. And also to note here, this was an article on February the 8th. That was exactly when HEX had gone up, I think around an 8x in value over a couple of weeks. In this article, which was outdated already when it wrote, they made lies. They actually made two lies. So one was that it was down when they were writing the article, but it wasn't down. It had just gone up, I think, around an 8x. And then the second lie was they said there was an altcoin that promises returns. That's a lie. There has never been a promise with HEX. It's a smart contract. It has no expectations. It's a complete project. So you're basically making up lies here. CoinTelegraph is basically making up lies here in this article. Then they made one post on March the 10th with Even on Tech clashes with Richard Hart's and latest CoinTelegraph. Then they made a post on March the 10th, YouTube continues crypto ban, and they talked again about Even on Tech and this debate with Richard Hart. And then they made a May the 15th post with an article called HEX still can't shake the scam label as token approaches 1 billion market cap. Here they made a negative article yet again exactly when HEX had gone up 116x, and they're still talking that it can't shake the scam label, even though they're focusing on a few people, the few ignorant people that basically has been wrong all the time about HEX. And they're even when HEX goes up 116x, CoinTelegraph is still making a negative post, a negative article about this project. And then the last one they did on May the 31st was John McAfee calls his own 1 million Bitcoin price prediction nonsense. This was actually, I mean, they said that John McAfee basically said that maybe HEX has potential. So they haven't made a single honest article covering HEX. I mean, shame on these guys. Is CoinTelegraph is a shame to this industry. So they haven't made a single good article about HEX after its amazing performance. They haven't covered its amazing performance, its amazing community, largest and the most amazing community in 2020 when it comes to crypto. It's the HEX accounts. I mean, shame to these people. Like, whoever is writing article on Cointelegraph, you're not being honest people, and you're only. I'm not sure if you guys have an agenda, but it looks like you have an evil agenda or something. It seems like you are targeting HEX. You're only focused. You're only trying to bring down this project. You don't interview or talk to real people. You don't talk to hexicans. You're not honest. You're not honest with your articles. You're making up lies in the articles, and you're not being held accountable. Like, you're making up lies in this February 8th article. It's like straight up lies, and there's no accountability. Your reporters are not being held accountable when they're making up lies. So these are like lies. They're still sitting on your website like months later, and you haven't corrected it. You're like, you allow your reporters to make up lies in articles, and you don't apologize. Do you know how bad it is for the Cointelegraph brand that you have straight up lies that you're writing, and you don't apologize, you don't fix the articles when you're being wrong about something? And do you know how bad it is when you're attacking trustless interests, something that this community needs, something that actually empowers real humans, something that empowers humans way more than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin can't pay interest. HEX is actually providing real value, a real crypto need, which is trustless interest by locking up your coins. You're not covering a single good article about the best Ethereum smart contract of 2020. It's a shame. Like, this is like horrible. This is truly horrible, because Cointelegraph should be, they want to be a respectable entity in this industry, but they're not acting in accountable ways. They're not doing real journalism. It's horrible, to be honest. And it's truly a shame. I see on Twitter other people talking about how ashamed they also are of Cointelegraph, how they're not being honest in their articles. People go to Cointelegraph because they want to read real, truthful things. But you're not covering it. You're missing the biggest story of 2020, which is HEX trustless interest. If I go to CoinGecko right now, let's go and see how much HEX is up at the moment. So at the moment, from its all-time low of January the 5th, 2020, 6 months ago, it's up 5,900%. That's, I think, around a 59x since its all-time low. And since its all-time high 2 months ago, it's down 47%. But it's still up 59x. You haven't covered this. So you basically want to have this brand talking about the future of money, but you're not covering any good things about HEX. Do you have an agenda to try to hold back and gatekeep HEX? Do you have the same agenda that CoinMarketCap seem to have, and that CoinGecko have, and that MetaMask seem to have, and a lot of Ethereum guy influencers that are also very, very hostile and negative against HEX community? Do you have some kind of agenda that I don't know about? Because I really want to know about it then. Because this is horrible. I guess you have people that are being paid to write journalism, but it doesn't seem like they are taking their job in a serious way. And especially when we're talking about something sensitive as money, where it's extra important that you're not making up lies and that you're actually covering it in truthful ways. Like there are lies on CoinTelegraph right now. That February the 8th article needs to be corrected. Because if you can make up lies and you say that there were promises in HEX, that's quite serious. That's quite a big issue, because you're making this whole industry look like a joke. HEX is basically trying to improve this industry by teaching people to be responsible, to hold their own coins, and to learn to make people save value. And by locking it up longer, they get paid more by having this amazing HEX game theory. And it seems like you guys don't want to cover the best things in crypto, which is very strange, to be honest. You cover a bunch of nonsense in crypto, like a bunch of hacks and stuff like that. You're making your platform a place where you advertise hackers and nonsense. This is not good. Like, it's horrible. You're talking about trading, and you're interviewing people that has been wrong for many years, and you don't cover anything real. You haven't covered the BitMEX lawsuit, I'm pretty sure, or maybe you have. Let's see. Have they covered it? BitMEX. Let's write in BitMEX. Let's see. Let's search. So they have June the 29th. They're talking about BitMEX launching service for corporate customers. I don't see anything about the lawsuit here, so it seems like you're not covering it. Maybe you're covering it somewhere. Yeah, but it's like there's so many things with CoinTelegraph that is like a parody. And it's sad, right? It's sad on your front page how you market coins like XRP, that is just a DLT coin, and that has a bunch of fake partnerships. It's sad that you market Bitcoin Cash, which is just a clone of Bitcoin. It's sad that you market EOS on your front page, which has proven to not do anything over 2 years. It's sad that you are using your platform to not improve the industry. So yeah, it's just like I'm ashamed, like, that we don't have any good websites that can actually be honest about HEX. Because when we're gonna look back, or when we're gonna look back at this time in a few years into the future, people are probably gonna be ashamed of CoinTelegraph, that they missed the biggest story of 2020. That you can't do a single article about the amazing share price and how it works, the amazing game theory. You can't give credit when people actually did something amazing in this industry, and how you also seem to be, you don't cover anything real. Like, Binance has done a lot of weird things in this industry. They did a Steam hostile takeover, and then now they're running Hive. They basically have most coins over there, and you don't cover it that well. That Binance is basically a corrupt entity in this industry, and it seems like, yeah. So it seems like people can just do a bunch of nonsense, and you don't really care at all about it to like cover stuff in honest ways. So my suggestion to CoinTelegraph is get real reporters, get real journalists, because it's a joke how you can have people that are basically making up lies about HEX, like William Suberg, and then that you don't even correct it. It's like a parody. Like, if anyone from the outside of this industry, if they look at this industry, they're gonna see, well, this is like a joke. These guys are not being serious. These guys don't wanna scale this industry. It's like, if this was the real world, like you would, like a lot of people would have had to resign very early. But apparently in the crypto industry, you can never be ostracized. You can just do horrible things. You can be wrong about predictions all the time, and you can keep show up on the front page of Cointelegraph, for example. So I'm curious, are they gonna do a single like positive article about HEX this year? Because it's starting to turn into a true joke. Yeah, it's very gross actually how they're behaving, and I don't think they understand that like they're gonna they're gonna slow down this industry because nobody want to be associated with these companies when they're not being serious, when they can't be professional, and yeah, it's just sad to see how. So Cointelegraph, they rank good in Google, right? So they have potential to do like real change in the world and actually be about the future of money. But they don't have these cover stories, which they should, about the real important stuff. So they keep talking to boring Bitcoin maximalists that has been wrong for many, many years. And they don't understand that the world is changing. They don't understand that people are moving away from Bitcoin. They don't understand how horrible brand Bitcoin have now, and that like, for example, you have scammers on YouTube that are using Bitcoin and like taking famous people's faces and like making YouTube videos of it and like scamming other people. Cointelegraph doesn't understand that like the Bitcoin era is over and nobody has the funds to fix the branding issue with Bitcoin. And you have this tragedy of the common issue that nobody really seems to be interested and engaged enough to actually fix the problems you have with Bitcoin. And a lot of people moving into other coins, either DTC with DTube for video, as a video coin, or people are moving into HEX and printing their own trustless interest and locking up their coins for years. Cointelegraph hasn't covered it at all, how the average lock time in HEX is 4.65 years or something like that at the moment. They haven't done any article about the amazing share price design, which they actually should take a good look into because it's extremely in-depth and sophisticated. And they're talking about these other staking systems that you can do in Ethereum with DeFi, but they're not talking about the best one. They're not talking about the big payday in HEX on November the 19th. They're not talking about end stake penalties, how it's good for the holders of HEX, that they're getting more rewards if people are not doing what they said they were gonna do. They're not talking about the people holding their own keys with HEX. Yeah, it's just like, it's a parody, right? Yeah, it's very sad. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. I hope Cointelegraph improves, or we need another website for like reporting on real crypto news about real stuff that matters, because maybe Cointelegraph is not fit for this industry. It seems like they do not want to be professional, be seen as professional in this industry. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Very, very sad how they haven't covered a single or done a single article, good article about HEX. 30% of the article on Cointelegraph should be about how amazing HEX is performing and interviewing hexicans and seeing what hexicans are doing. Have you seen hex.live website? Have you seen hexinfo.io website? Have you seen hex.vision website with all these amazing stats and cool things you can see? Have you covered how amazing Uniswap is with HEX? How you can move from like a stable coin to HEX to Ethereum on same chain? Have you covered any of that? Have you covered that Bitcoin lacks all these features and probably will never get it? Have you covered that Ethereum coins like HEX may get anonymity quite soon here in the future because Ethereum is being improved and so on? You haven't covered any of this. You should get to work and like actually do real journalism, do real reporting. And this actually takes real work, because just to understand the share price, you have to watch a lot of YouTube videos. You have to maybe read the code. You have to look at long videos talking about a lot of aspects about HEX, because it seems like your reporters are pretty uneducated about what HEX really is. I watched hours and hours and hours and hours of content about HEX just to understand it, because it's very aristocratic, it's very sophisticated, and you can't understand it if you just gloss it over 10 minutes. You have to dig in deep to understand how it actually works. It's not some nonsense project. So yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and yeah, bye bye.